transfer window is officially closed. It won't reopen until next Jan. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of euros, pounds, dollars, whatever currency you want to use has been spent. This transfer window alone, over €1 billion has been spent. We, Liverpool, has spent majority of them. We spent over 450 million euros. We went out there and buy a lot of players. We also sold a lot of players. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about these transfers. And of course, before we get into it, Alexander Isak is finally a Liverpool player. The back and forth, weeks after weeks, months and months, he's finally a Liverpool player. The saga of Alexander Isak done. Let's start from the beginning. Jeremy Frimpong, with transfer departure to Real Madrid, we immediately replaced him with one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world in Jeremy Frimpong for 40 million euros. I believe that was his release clause. A great player, played a massive part in Bayer Leverkusen's success in the invisible Bundesliga a few seasons ago over clubs like Bayern and Dortmund. Amazing. And then on the left-hand side, there's no secret that we've been trying to replace Andy Robertson for quite a while. The age is catching up to him, and then we replace him with arguably the best left back in the Prem in Milos Kerkez for 45 million euros, which is great business. And then we go over the midfield. We have McAllister, who had a great season, Gravenberch, who had a really good season, Szoboszlai had a great bounce back season. We still have Harvey Elliott, who can play there. He can also play on the right. We also have Curtis Jones, who can also play in the midfield. And then realize Florian Wirtz is available to buy. He said no to Bayern. He said no to Real. When you think of a Bayern signing a young talented German player, you think of someone like Florian Wirtz, and the fact that he said no and he wants to join a club like Liverpool is crazy to think about. But we broke the bank for Florian Wirtz. We paid 125 million euros for this man, which is a lot of money, which is going to be incredibly hard to live up to. And then you go over to the striker position. We bought Darwin Núñez for a lot of money. A few seasons ago, he hasn't worked out, and obviously with Diogo Jota passing, it's not ideal. So we addressed it. We went up there to Newcastle and asked about Isak. They initially said no. So okay. So alright, we go for your main target in Hugo Ekitike. This is someone who they've been looking at for quite a while. Even before he joined Frankfurt, he was with PSG when they had, Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, Donnarumma and Sergio Ramos. They had those incredible superstars. He just couldn't get any minutes, and he made the move. And now we have him, and we paid 95 million euros for him. A lot of money, which is something we're going to talk about in a second here. We also went out there to Serie A and bought Giovanni Leoni, who's 18 years old, from Parma for 31 million euros, a backup center back that we can kind of develop, play behind Van Dijk, play alongside Konate and Joe Gomez, who can just grow as a player. I can't wait to see him. To be honest with you, I don't know anything about this man until we bought him a few weeks ago. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Giovanni Leoni. But of course, the big boy himself, Alexander Isak, 144 million euros. All the numbers I'm using is from transfermarket.com, by the way. So 144 million euros is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Now we have the top goal scorer in Mohamed Salah, and then we have the second top goal scorer in Alexander Isak in the same team. Now I wonder, is that going to hinder Salah's ability to score the goal? Is it going to hinder Alexander Isak's ability to score the goal? Now we know that Salah likes to create. He likes to give off an assist from the right hand side. I'm excited to see that kind of partnership with him and Isak. But the one player that I want to talk about is actually Ekitike. He's been firing in all cylinders. He's been in great form. 2 goals, 1 assist in 3 games. He had a bit of a rough game yesterday against Arsenal. But Arsenal is one of the best defensive team in the world. So Anisla's been taking him off around the 70th, 80th minute, putting in Federico Chiesa. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Isak and Ekitike, because you're not going to bring Ekitike off the bench when you paid 95 million euros for him. Obviously we talk about depth, but it's hard when you have top 2 players, especially when you have Ekitike, who's been in great form so far. But I'm sure when Ekitike signed with Liverpool, I'm sure they're told that, hey look, we might be bringing in Isak as well. So I'm sure Arne Slot has a plan. I'm interested to see how he's gonna play it up. We have Burnley coming back from the international break. We have Atletico Madrid in the Champions League after Burnley. So I'm excited to see. Obviously, as a fan, like I said, I'm incredibly happy, but I'm also a bit skeptical. Is it too many players? Is it too many stars? I've seen it in the NBA, when you have too many superstars, it's not gonna work out. I've seen it with Real Madrid last season when you have Mbappe, Vini, Bellingham, Rodrigo, and they didn't win a single trophy. And the joke is the best 3 left wingers played for Real Madrid. So let's talk about expectations now, because Premier League is not enough. When you spend over 450 million euros, it says here we spent 483 million euros in this transfer window. The expectation is not just one trophy. I'm talking about the treble. I'm talking about the quadruple, the sextuple. I'm talking about the Premier League, Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, right? That's when you spend big, you expect big prizes. But we've got to talk about the players that we sold. We sold Darwin Núñez for 70, which is great business. Darwin Núñez, somehow we managed to get 53 million for him. Saudi. Jarrah Kwanzaa, 35 M's to Bayer Leverkusen. Van Dijk, somehow 0 GA, but we managed to get 23 million from him. So Kelleher pretty early. Obviously Trent, we end up getting 10 because they wanted to play him in the Club World Cup. I have Elliot and Tsimikas went out on loans to Aston Villa and Roma respectfully. But yeah, we bought a few, we sold a few. Now it's just time to win trophies.